Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to the start of a brand new series here in MLB The Show 23. So we are going to be starting up a Draft to Glory franchise mode with my created team, the Vancouver Reign, which basically are going to be replacing the Oakland Athletics. Now, I did decide to basically nerf the entire A's roster, so as you can see here, we do not have a good team at all. Actually, I need to cut a couple B-rated prospects because I forgot that I had them on the roster. But yeah, basically we're just doing a full-on Draft to Glory. Tons of low rated players and low potential players on our team at the moment. So that way we could just build up via the draft. And also maybe the Rule 5 draft. I don't really know for sure if I want to build up via the Rule 5 draft or not. But that is up to you guys on that type of thing. But yeah, this episode we're pretty much just going to be scouting out prospects and getting ourselves set up for the draft. The draft will be all next episode, and then the episode after that we're going to be going all through the entire off season, the rest of the season simulation, and getting that done as fast as possible so we could get back to another draft as fast as possible, because we're going to be a really bad team for the number of few years. I'd say at least maybe 10 plus seasons before we actually start winning games more often than not. It depends on, I guess, also how we draft, but it's going to definitely take a while for this team to actually be a competitive team, I think. So anyways, let's advance a few days. I already advanced through this first game of the season where we lost 8-3, but let's advance a few days so we could actually get up to the scouting period and start scouting out some things. Also, we can maybe hire some new scouts if we want to. Actually, let me take a look. Let's see, scouting wise, Felipe Bell is decent at, some of these guys aren't that great. We should probably find ourselves a new scout. This one scout has no experience, but he's a master scout apparently, so I think I'm gonna hire him. He wants 110,000, which means I just need to fire one of these guys. Who's our worst scout here? Probably looking at, I'd say probably, actually the efficiency on Pedro is not great. Yeah, let's get rid of Pedro here. And yeah, Kurt Garcia. This guy, no experience, but he is a master scout, so that's going to be our best scout. We could always just hire a bunch of really good scouts actually to start off with, but we don't have really the budget to hire a bunch of good scouts. We have actually two pretty solid scouts now, and Felipe Bell's decent too, so let's hope that those scouts could help us out in terms of drafting some good players. Kurt Garcia is definitely going to be our one for positional players. So let me actually take note of some of our scouts and what they actually do. Write down on this piece of paper or something beside me, because that way I can remember what they're good at and what they're not good at. So Trowbridge is also good at positional players, and Bell is... he's not really that great. We should probably find one that's actually better at pitchers to replace Bell, because we do need at least somebody to scout pitchers when we're scouting out prospects. But obviously we don't have a lot of budget. If we fire Bell, we'd have 100,000, so we could still take one of these good scouts. Maybe, actually maybe not that. Oh, we could take Luis Lease and we'll just be in budget. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do, is replace Felipe Bell with Luis Lease. And then that's going to be our scouting tandem. Now we have one that's really good at pitchers, and two that are good at positional players. Garcia could also do pitchers, so I could actually write him there as pitcher as well. And then, yeah, Lease is good at pitchers. Okay, wrote that down just in case. Let's advance a few days so we could get to scouting out some prospects. We'll scout out some prospects, like I said, in this episode up until the draft, and then hopefully we have a pretty good representation of what this draft class looks like, and then we could get drafting in next episode, and hopefully we find some good gems. We got a couple more days apparently until the draft thing opens up. Not yet. We won our first game of the season against the Indians. Or not the Indians now, they're the Guardians. Still used to calling them the Indians still, because I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I do play baseball games occasionally, so we should be near the scouting thing here. Why is it taking so long? Why is it still locked? I don't know why this is still locked in. It's taking a while. Maybe it's actually a few more days we have to wait. Because I did a test run with this, and it was a few days in before we actually were able to start scouting. There we go. Now we could set scouting assignments. Perfect. 2-6 to start the season is actually better than I expected too. Okay, let's go to scouting and start scouting out some players. So this is the new scouting thing. I already took a look at this just because I had to kind of get myself familiarized with the new scouting system. So we have our priorities. So our best scout obviously is Kurt Garcia. So he's really good at positional players. So we're definitely going to sign him to some positional players. So let's scout him a specific prospect. Let's take a look at some positional players that we could potentially scout here. So Chris Mejia, he's not supposed to maybe go to 14th, but he's already 22. We're looking for 18-year-olds mainly, just because 18-year-olds are probably the best prospects. But obviously we can scout out some 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 19-year-olds. 96 potential, maybe an 18 catcher. I want to look for let's look at the top 100 prospects that the MLB has ranked, because maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for us. This is just based on catchers. Alright, let's go on based on specific. Let's just go all prospects and then look not at pitchers for this guy. So a lot of pitchers in this year's draft that are supposed to go in the top 100. So interesting. The best player based on positionals is potentially a second baseman, but he's 22. So I don't know if I want to scout him out yet. This 18-year-old could be good. Billy Voilet? Yeah, Voilet, I think it is. We'll get him scouted out by our top scout, Kurt Garcia. Number 2 priority, we'll get Trowbridge to as well do some positional players. So let's see what we got here for other positional players. There was Ezra Beltran, who was the guy we were just looking at before. There's Mejia again. Center fielder. 19 years of age, might be really solid. Barney Doyle. Yeah, let's add Barney Doyle to that, why not? And then this guy will be our pitching scouter. So, we don't need to take a closer early on, obviously. We do have the 6th overall pick. Relief pitchers, not really much as well. Starting pitchers is probably where I want him to be scouting out. There is Chase Magruder. Might be decent, but he's already 21. Looking for young starting pitcher, maybe. Oliver Cairo could be potentially decent, so let's add Cairo to this list, and these will be the guys that we're going to scout out for the first probably 2 weeks, unless some of these scouts figure out about them really quickly. But yeah, this might be a little bit of a long episode just because we have 90 days up until the draft, and we're going to be trying to scout out as much players as possible, but at least we're going to have ourselves set up for the draft for next episode, and hopefully we could get ourselves some pretty good prospects, and hopefully they end up signing with us too, because that's another thing to take note of in franchise mode. So these guys aren't fully scouted yet, but Billy Voilet, not as high of a potential if Kurt Garcia is right, which Kurt Garcia should be pretty good at scouting out these players, but he could be still wrong. And then Barney Doyle still might be really decent. So we'll keep Barney Doyle getting scouted. I'll keep all these guys getting scouted for the first 2 weeks. Take it a little bit slow. Obviously, we're going to have some bad drafts in this series, and we're going to have some really good ones potentially too. So, and obviously we don't care about our roster at all because we're just a draft to glory team. We're going to start building this team up, and starting next season, we'll actually have some guys that I've drafted on our roster. So yeah, Billy Voilet definitely is not as good as he looks. He's 100% scouted now. If our scout is right, he only has a potential of like an 81, which is not great. So yeah, Billy Voilet, you're going to get removed from this. Let's cancel that. Barney Doyle. Barney Doyle. Could be really good still. Yeah, Barney Doyle might be decent. Yeah, he might be actually really decent. We'll let him get scouted out for that final 5%, I think. And then Cairo will still stay there. And then we need to assign our number 1 scout, Kurt Garcia, to another positional player. See what we could scout out here. See if we could find another solid prospect here. Right fielder, 18 years of age. Might be decent. Might be decent. Yeah, he might be good. So let's get Phil Gaucho scouted. And we'll wait another week. And hopefully we find out a little bit more about Phil. Let's go another week. But yeah, hopefully we find ourselves some good prospects in this year's draft class. Because obviously starting the team off on the right foot is always good. So yeah, I don't really care about these damn notifications. I don't care about how our players are playing either, because none of these guys are going to be on this team for the long haul. So yeah, Barney Doyle might be really good. If our scout is accurate, which I believe Scott Trowbridge should be decent. I can't remember his other attributes, but yeah, he might be one of our top interested players. So let's cancel scouting assignment on him. So we'll have to sign Trowbridge somewhere else. We'll get Cairo scouted out a little bit more. He looks like he could be a decent pitcher, at least at the moment. That's if our scout is accurate. And then Phil Gaucho might be decent still. He might be decent. So there might be a good outfielders in this draft. Potentially. Let's get another positional player in here. What else we got? Third baseman. 18 years of age. Yeah, let's get Steve Schneider scouted out by Trowbridge. Because why not? And then we'll go another week. And then we hopefully should have some more information on those guys. We already have 5 wins this season, which is more than I expected. I felt like we were going to go like lose every single game this year, but you can't really lose every single game in an MLB season. There's just too much games. Okay, Cairo still might be decent if our scout is accurate, which Luis Liss was good at pitching, so I definitely could trust him on that, but we'll keep on scouting him out. Gaucho, if Kurt Garcia is right, which I definitely should trust Kurt. Yeah, he's not that great, which is unfortunate. So we'll remove Gaucho, and we'll assign Kurt Garcia somewhere else as Steve Schneider gets scouted out a little bit more. Steve Schneider could honestly be a beast, but who knows? We can never trust out our scouts fully. Let's see, positional players. We're just doing on MLB rank right now, so hopefully not all these guys go in the first round, or else we're kind of screwed. Freddie Poole might have a potential between an 80 and a 99. He's only 21, so that's not bad. Might be a low overall, so that's not great, but we'll scout him out anyways. Because I feel like this draft might be a decent one for outfielders. So we'll get him scouted out. How much days do we got still? 62 days till the draft, which means quite a few more weeks still, like 8 more weeks of scouting, which is not bad. It kind of sucks that I have to wait like a couple of days before I record the next episode, because I definitely want to see what these guys are looking like, but obviously I need your guys' opinion on who we should be drafting and whatnot if you are an expert at this game, which probably not everybody is yet because of this new scouting system, but who knows. So Cairo's 100% scouted, and he could be good. He could be a really good pitching prospect if Luis Liss is right, which I definitely think I might trust him, but let's assign Luis Liss to a new prospect. Yeah, let's change to prospect. Let's go to another starting pitcher. Yeah, let's go to this 21-year-old. Just because he's ranked pretty high, I want to see how good he is. Trowbridge is almost fully scouted out Steve Schneider, and Steve Schneider might be really good as well as a third baseman. So we'll get him fully scouted out. And then Freddie Poole is already 100% scouted by Kurt Garcia, and he's okay. Maybe. I definitely trust Kurt over everybody else, but he might be decent. MLB has him ranked at 29th. We have him ranked at 108th. So he might be like a late round steal for us if our scout is right. Let's assign Kurt Garcia to somebody else again. He's going through players really quickly in terms of scouting, so I do trust him, but he's doing a really quick job at it, so hopefully he doesn't overlook too much things, you know. Let's see what we got. Shortstop. Might be a good shortstop there in Ricky J. Let's get him scouted out. Why not? Scout as much infielding players as possible as well, because obviously building up our team via the draft, we definitely need to have some at least home runs of hits in our first draft. Because if we have like a bunch of bad drafts in a row, that could definitely delay the process of us making the postseason. Okay, let's go another week. See what our scouts have for us for information wise. Hey, we got another win this week. Nice. Okay, what do we got? Scouting. Chase Magruder, 50% scouted, but might be a beast. He might be a beast. We'll get him still scouted out more. Steve Schneider is 100% scouted, and if Scott Trowbridge is right, he could be a really good player. A third baseman that has 93 potential, might be as high as a 67 overall. So Steve Schneider might be high on my list this year in the draft. We'll end up seeing once we get to that place. Let's see what we could assign Trowbridge to again. Yeah, let's assign it to positional players again. Let's see what we could find for him to scout out. But yeah, this might be a decent draft for us in the beginning. Hopefully we don't get any really bad drafts. Kirk Samuels. Sure, another third baseman. Let's scout him out as well. Since there was one maybe good third baseman, this guy might be a good third baseman as well. We'll get him scouted out. And yeah, let's go another week. I do really like this new draft system. It's definitely a lot better than it was like in last year's game. And it's a lot better than NHL's drafting as well, I think. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So, Chase Magruder is almost fully scouted. His potential should be good if Luis Liss is right again. And hopefully Luis Liss is if we decide to take this guy early on. His bonus demand is really high up as well, which makes me think he might be a good player. But he's 21, so you definitely want to hope that he's a high overall. Because if he's kind of like a 62 at 21, it's a bit iffy. But, yeah, that's pretty solid so far. Ricky J, probably not a first-round pick, but could be a potential good late-round pick. Shortstop that might have like at least like a low-end B potential, which would be okay. So we'll remove Ricky J. And then Kirk Samuels hasn't been fully scouted yet, but he might be good still. Let's get Garcia back scouting out some more positional players here. See if we can find anything good. We haven't seen a lot of first basemen yet. There's another third baseman. Let's get another third baseman scouted. Why not? I feel like this year might be a good year for third baseman in the draft, just based on the amount of third basemen we've seen in the top 100. This might be a good year for third baseman, which would be a good way to start off building our team up, because not all drafts have good third basemen. Unless our scouts are just not doing a good job, who knows? Maybe a lot of these guys aren't actually as good as they look. Okay, let's get back to scouting. So, Magruder might be decent. He might be decent. He's 21, no, that's the only thing. So, let's change prospect, or change prospect. Give this pitching scout another player. Brian Barreto. Why not? He might have as high as a 90 overall, which I really doubt, but that would be insane out of the draft. 95% scouted on Samuels. Might be decent, but he doesn't look like the best out of the draft overall-wise, but he might be a decent third baseman. He's 95% scouted, so I think I might change him. And then Sheely is still getting scouted out. Yeah, let's change prospects on Samuels. Let's go with some more positional players down this list. I really hope we find some good players, because I really want to get this team started off on the right foot. Cal Halbert might be a good catcher. Sure, let's get him scouted out. And then, yeah, we'll let Sheely still get scouted out a little bit more. Hopefully Barreto's actually that good as the pitcher, but you never know. We won't know what our players overalls wise are until after we sign them as well, which is really interesting. So, yeah. That would be interesting to see, like, that we think one player is good, we give him a lot of money, and then we find out that he's not good at all. That's definitely some complexion to this game that I like. Sheely might be good. He might be a low overall project type of player, but that still might be a good late round steal. So, if Kurt Garcia is right, let's change prospects and give Kurt somebody else. Let's see what we got for more positional players. We should maybe scout out some relievers and stuff like that as well for our pitchers. But obviously we're doing positional players for this guy because he's a great scout, or he should be. No, I'm looking for like 99 potentially, maybe. 94, 95. Yeah, sure, Leo Enriquez. Yeah, that's good. These guys are still getting scouted out, which is fine. 27 days till the draft, so we only got a couple more weeks to go. And yeah, that's good. That's good. Don't care about no injuries yet. Eventually, we'll start to care about that once we actually have players to worry about. I am keeping a spreadsheet of everybody we draft as well, so that way we know which players we drafted and which ones are not just some random guys instead with the same name. So Halbrook, not really that great. Might be a low-end catcher, but we'll definitely change him. That's if Trowbridge is right, which hopefully he is. I hope all these scouts are accurate, because if they're not, then we're going to be making some pretty bad picks. Alex Ramirez, let's get him scouted out in the outfield. Why not? Leo Enriquez is still being scouted out. His doctor exam says he's injured. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like that. Sorry, Leo, you're not getting scouted out anymore. If you're injured, obviously we do not want to be drafting an injured player. That's one thing I definitely do not like. That's if it's accurate, which I think it's always accurate with that type of thing. That's a relief pitcher. We're looking for some more fielders, maybe. Giancarlo Zavala. Sure, it says he's injured, but let's get him scouted out. Unless that's not accurate. Now, that might be already accurate. I don't know for sure. We'll get him scouted out already as well. Because why not? Barreto might be a pretty solid pitcher. Okay guys, so for some reason my Elgato decided to freeze at that point in the video, but at least you guys didn't miss really anything. It was literally just the last week of scouting. But as you can see, we can't really actually take a look at the prospects we actually scouted in this episode. So yeah, basically you guys have this as a reference. As you can see, our depth chart, where we're the worst at and all that type of thing. We're pretty much bad at everything, so I don't really know what exactly we want to take with our first round pick this year. But hopefully we can find ourselves some good players to build this team up around, because obviously you can see right now we're definitely going to be a really bad team for a number of years, being at 13 and 77. We are the best team in speed apparently, which is interesting, but obviously a lot of these players that are on the team won't be on this team for the long haul, just because we're trying to build up via the draft in that only. So there is that, and I don't think there's any way to take a look at the prospects, right, that I scouted out, because if I can, that would be really nice. But it doesn't look like I can, because it's locked now. Let's go to not top prospects, because that's his current players. Is there anywhere I could actually see this? No, I can't. Huh. That's kind of annoying. Oh well. So yeah, I don't really know where we want to target. If we want to start off by building up our team via pitching, we didn't really scout a whole lot of pitchers. We did scout out more like players in the infield and first and second base, third base, that type of thing. So we probably want to address positional need first, I'd say, over pitching, because pitching right now obviously is not that great, but obviously we need better pitching scouts in order to probably find ourselves better pitchers. Like, we had one good pitching scout, but if need be, we'll probably draft maybe a couple pitchers, but we'll probably look more for positional needs, I think, than anything else. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Reign Draft Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will do the entire draft. Hopefully, we'll find ourselves some good prospects in that draft that we can build this team up around. And hopefully the guys that we end up having kind of interest in, hopefully a lot of them don't go before our pick at number 6. And then, yeah, hopefully we could just keep building this team up via the draft. And hopefully one day this team will win a World Series. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.